What a beautiful ending. Wasn't that just so wasn't that just so peaceful?
It's so nice.
Right. Everything that is not this chaotic week of Big Brother 24. But it's also our birthday. So we're so excited, to welcome back Tommy, Warren, and Slim, to jury duty here. This is 1 year for us.
Happy birthday.
Crazy.
Thanks so much. If you would have told us during the Zoom days that we would even reach 6 months, I would have told you a liar. But here we are. There's a lot to talk about. We've only been in this house for 1 week, and it's a hot fucking dumpster fire. Let's get into all that and the birthday celebrations. Jury duty.
The little cupcakes.
Oh, you like the cupcakes? Thank goodness. So I was like, is this stupid? I was like,
No,
I like the cupcakes.
It's our birthday.
Very
Wonderful,
fun, very fun.
Got a wonderful response. And notice the one candle. Yeah, all intentional. Thank you
A whole
so much.
year.
Thanks for noticing, even though you didn't. I pointed it out. But anyway, this is Jury Duty, your favorite Big Brother podcast. You can find us on the socials at BB Jury Duty or on the flashy website at bbjuryduty.com. We are joined by some of our best Big Brother friends, and we are chatting Big Brother 24 on tonight. So we had our first blacked out photo of the season.
Yes.
The lady Paloma.
Ugh.
Okay. Yeah. Yikes is right. Where does one even start? I didn't even bother with the captions on this one because, like,
how do you caption this?
Because nothing matters. Everything is fake. Maybe everything is as Paloma said it was.
Yeah.
Mess.
Not really. Just having fun. So, I mean, where does one even start on tonight here?
Well, I think the last thing that we spoke about, right, in regards to the season was that Terrance and Michael had been nominated, right? Because at that point, I don't think.
Oh, right. You guys didn't talk last night.
Right. So I guess we can kind of skip through some things.
Well, we did spoil. We spoiled. We went into the video.
That's true. You're totally right. You're totally right.
That's the new Jury Duty format. We're keeping it cash the first half of Monday. For our friends that don't do the feeds. Then we spoil the fuck out of you, John style. We kind of did get into it, but Gina had better things to do, and we have 3 new friends here. So there's a lot to talk about regarding the veto and its usage and the ceremony that followed. So Terrance and Michael obviously, won the veto.
Yeah. And, can I just say that I loved before the veto, Michael's his pep talk that he gave himself to pump himself up. The what would Janelle do? And now I know that she has seen it and like tweeted about it.
Right, she retweeted it and was like, happy. "Go, baby! I'm so proud of you." And I was like, "This is the best case scenario."
Makes me very happy.
I loved it. There was a moment there I didn't think he was actually going to win it, even though I knew he would.
Right, we knew that.
They both beasted that comp in the finals.
Yeah,
they did.
I was talking to Mira and Michael, and
I thought his nerves were gonna kick in, and he was gonna mess it up. But I was rooting for him.
Yeah,
I feel like this is like the first time I've seen Twitter really rally around the same 3 people, and Michael's one of them. So I'm sure everyone was super happy for Michael winning that over.
I mean, he's my winner pick, so I was thrilled.
Yeah, we didn't get to discuss that. What did you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I hate my winner pick.
Wait, who is who? Oh, I remember
Monty.
now. Hold on. Yeah, let's refresh everyone.
God.
John believed that Monty was going to take this one. Florin.
Listen. He still could.
I mean,
all right?
John was also
Right,
saying that he was
right.
going to split his votes between Brittany and Paloma, so that didn't age well either.
All right. Okay. All right. It was a long time ago. It's a long time ago. AKA, it was only a week ago, but it feels like a month ago.
It
feels
does.
like
It
an
way
eternity.
longer than that. I had to convince Tommy to vote for Brittany. He's like, I don't really think I care about her that much. I was like, all right,
Ooh.
even if
You
it's
will.
not about Brittany, we need to make sure that Paloma and Alyssa get blocked. All right.
Right.
So is that what you
Right.
want? Do you want your complacent ass to be the reason why Paloma or Alyssa are safe? Like, that's how Trump got in.
No.
Not that.
I didn't add that
Yikes.
when we were talking before, but it is relevant. It is true, and I'm not sorry. Voting complacency will not be tolerated in this house. So anyway,
I was like, I don't think I like any of these people.
It's not
I
a
mean-
very likable house, to be fair.
it's really odd.
And I think right from the beginning, the whole cast is like poisoned. I don't think anybody knows what they're doing in there. The second that somebody like stirred up a little bit of commotion, which happened to be Paloma, like everybody just flocked to her for some reason and took her word over anything else. And I feel like it just like made the season spiral within the course of like a few days. Like everybody in there is just a mess.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The second that somebody gives somebody good advice, like Taylor going to Monty saying, "Hey, I heard somebody say your name," or Brittany saying to Pooch, like, "Hey, people have your name in their mouths." Like those people are going immediately back to the other people that said their names and are saying like, "Oh, yeah, Brittany told me that you said my name, Amira, but I don't believe it." It's like, what are you doing? Like, what are you even doing in there? That's the type of information that, like, when Taylor went to Monty, I was talking to Gina about this before. Like, if somebody comes to you in the house and says, "Hey, this person was saying your name," I might not believe it completely 100%, but I feel like I'd be like, all right, I need to keep my eye on this person. I wouldn't immediately go and be like giving up all this information that someone's shared with, I just think it's crazy. I don't understand what anybody's doing in there.
Yeah.
I'm happy that it's messy though. I'd rather have like them actually doing things, because those first 3 days were really rough. It was just Paloma like really getting the ball rolling, even more so than Daniel, which is crazy, like considering both of the positions they were in. It
Mhm.
should have really been flipped the other way around, but so I'm happy people are starting to like be messy. That I don't know if you guys watched the feeds the night where Brittany was having her like Renaissance, like she can see into the future meltdown in the HOH room, but like how she's
Oh, I
like,
didn't see that.
No, I did not see that.
oh my god, she was telling I thought they'd show it on the broadcast like show, but she was telling Daniel and Nicole like everything she witnessed at the table during the veto like competition, like what she heard, who's here for the cameras, like who's really not here for the. I'm like, she was doing the absolute most upstairs. I'm like, okay, this is like what I want to see though.
So what
I
was
love
she
it.
saying?
She's like, I just noticed like who was getting closer to Kyle because he was hosting the competition. So she's like, obviously people want to be closer to the host, so the cameras are on them more. She called out Indy, she called out Turner, she called out Pooch, like whispering to, and then funny enough, right when she leaves, Nicole's like, well, it's funny, she's like sitting there saying she noticed all these things because me and Pooch were whispering about who the replacement would be if one of them won the veto. So like it kind of like worked against her in a way, but Daniel like loved it. So, but it was so messy, it was so bad.
Oh.
Wow.
Can we also talk about Kyle in this
I was
competition?
waiting for you to bring this up.
Yeah.
That was
I've been waiting all day.
some of the worst hosting I ever did see.
Oh, he's
I
so
hated
annoying.
He needs to be
every
launched into
Oh.
the sun.
God, he's so much.
Like he
Everything he does is just everything
I-
is just
But then,
too much.
hate him.
Too much.
But people were talking about like on the feeds, they were talking about what like a great job he did. Oh my God, amazing host, blah blah blah. And I was like, this is what everyone was
No.
losing their mind about.
awful.
Oh
Like,
God,
really awful.
so bad.
Summer from BB Can 10 was much better And I still don't like how her story ended, like gameplay wise. I still don't like how her story ended gameplay wise, but yeah, she was a great host. She was. I wonder if Tommy's having the same bandwidth issues that Gina and James have. Even though that's never been an issue for us.
Right.
I like to believe that we have premium Wi-Fi. And I don't even know what that means.
Subtle
I just
flex.
I just wanted to have a good time.
All right. Sorry.
There he is.
Hi, welcome back. Well, I do have something for the benefit of the community. Here's what I have. Our first chance to discuss this, okay? This was the original popularity poll.
Oh, yes.
Okay, we asked our friends on Instagram to throw a yay or nay to the people that they were liking or not liking. And this is what we said. Of course, I knew I was going to forget something. My notebook is somewhere in the kitchen or something. I really wrote down what the differences were. I took a picture and sent it to everybody.
I was just going to say.
So at least, right, I have my numbers. So I'm going to get lost here. Yeah, so we had some problems. Some people suffered some major losses. This is where we started. This at the beginning of the season. This poll was run after the live move-in. All right, so this is the 24 hours after the live move-in going into Thursday. Okay. Now the next poll we ran this. When was this, Sean? Was this after Monday's pod?
I think it was after the
this was going into the 12th.
Yes. Like 5 days. Yes. You're right. Yes. Into the 12th.
Yeah, so it was Monday night going into Tuesday. Literally 5 days after the conclusion of poll one. And this is what we get. We're seeing a lot more red. Okay. That was actually really fun to switch in that moment because you can really see how much. Yeah, that's really fun. Let's do it again. So this was on 7/7. This is what we got.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
I think.
What do you think?
What really strikes me? Can we go back to the original one for a second? Like,
of course we can. We love the color changing. I also want to just point out that I am responsible for the amazing alignment. The fact that effect is really resonating with you all is thanks to me. So I just want to throw that out there. All right, so here's the first one. Go ahead.
I just love that, like, in this first one, the lowest percentage on here is 25% for Turner, and then you flip to the next one, and there are multiple people in the single digits.
Yep.
Right. Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah, we saw a lot of troubles going into this week. Alyssa suffered a 16-point loss. I think she should have suffered more.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Anybody have any comments on Alyssa?
I think.
No, she sucks.
Yeah, no, I'm just.
She's really out of a house where there's like obviously 13 people that. Well, now we're pretty much down to 12 that the fans like don't like and stuff. I think Alyssa's probably like more towards the least hated of that pack, and I think like it's warranted. I mean, she obviously hasn't been great, but I think like when it comes to everyone, hasn't been as horrid as some of our other BB24 houses.
Well, I mean, she's clocking in at 34%, but it does still kind of resonate with everything you just said there because, like, she's still not among the worst of the not liked. Which
I think the thing with Alyssa is that, like, yeah, she's not great, but she's also just kind of a follower. So I feel like whatever everybody else is doing, she's gonna kind of blindly do it. Like, she like latched onto Paloma and was like, well, whatever Paloma thinks, I also think. So like she wasn't really kind of doing her own thing there. It was just kind of whatever everyone else thinks is what I also think.
Very true.
Yeah.
So what's surprising to me is that the next person here, right, Amira, like, because I got to tell you, I think Amira has been, besides Paloma, like one of the worst. I think Amira was the one. Correct me if I'm wrong, if you guys know, but I'm pretty sure that Amira was the one that made the comment about how like, Taylor's mom, she loves the show and she watches the feeds all the time. Like, how is her mom? Well, she's going to be so disappointed in her daughter. I'm pretty sure that Amira was the one that said that. If somebody else has a thinks differently. I'm pretty sure it was her.
I remember it being said. I can't remember who said it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Amira, and like just for that comment alone, I'm just like I would want to just put her down further. Like just that's so mean spirited.
I didn't even know that was said.
Yeah.
Oh, a lot of things have been said.
A lot.
It's been really ugly this week.
I know.
Amir is probably like the one I'm most like disappointed with, because after before everything really got crazy with Taylor, I loved Amira. She was gonna be like I haven't done a ranking since the first episode. I was gonna do it every episode or so, but by episode 2, there was no one to rank other than Taylor, and Brittany. So,
yeah.
So I was like, I'm just gonna avoid that. But I really liked Amira until everything happened.
Right.
She
suffered big losses. She suffered big loss. She lost 50 points. She really she struggled this week. Yeah, she went from 80 to 30. She still wasn't our biggest loser. We'll get into that. Yeah.
It's warranted.
Yeah, she sucks. She kind of sucks. Who's next? Brittany.
Oh, we love Brittany.
She saw some gains this week. She went from 60% to 74%, putting her in the green.
One of the few, it sucks to even say things like this because we really don't know these people at all.
We don't know anything about them at all, but that's what makes it more fun.
Right, but off of the very little that we do know about them, Brittany feels like one of the few, really decent people in there. So.
I mean, the thing that stuck out to me about Brittany, right out the gate, everybody was going in on Taylor all week, and Brittany was the one person to be like, but what did she do, though? And no one ever gave her an answer, but she would keep asking, yeah, but what'd she do?
Right.
Why are we hating on her? What did she do?
Right. Because she didn't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
She, her and Amira, I think, are very flipped, where it's, we love Brittany and we're rooting for Brittany, but she's being so messy in that house. More than anyone else, Brittany is such a mess. But Amira, I think, is playing, one of the best games right now, but, obviously we're not huge fans of Amira.
No.
Are you surprised that Brittany's playing kind of like a messy game? Is she, because she's a fan of this game, right? I almost kind of thought that she'd be in there and be one of the stronger players, but it seems like she is. I agree with you.
That's
why I'm wondering, are you surprised by it?
Very early.
Yeah.
Shooting herself in the foot a lot.
Yeah, what I think is, I think she would have been much better. The only reason she's being this way is because she was put backstage. Had she not been put backstage, I think we could be seeing Brittany in a really, really great spot right now, but she was given a really bad hand by getting picked by Pooch to be backstage with Alyssa and Paloma, even though she technically was not last in that competition.
Yeah.
I don't know what the ruling was on that.
I'm glad that you said that because, there were some people that just gave Pooch a pass. Oh, he did it the most fair way possible. He picked all the people that came in last. And that is true for Alyssa and Paloma, but Brittany did not come in last. He picked her because he noticed her dress. You know what I mean?
Literally, he just went blue dress, belly dancer. It was okay, so the one person you remembered a fact about, you went, nah, she can go.
Right.
They put it in the edit.
Yeah, they put it in the
actual show.
Yeah.
Right.
Pooch was I just picked everyone who went out first. They just...
Nobody went out first in that competition. There was no...
Yeah.
I thought that was just me. I thought I was just remembering it as it never was. So no, none of them were actually last.
None of them were last.
The other two were, but there was nobody last in that one competition.
Right.
Because that was the piercing one.
Pooch even said, he was like, oh, for these two competitions, I'll just pick the person that came in last. But for the other competition, we'll have to figure something out. And what he figured out was, the girl in the blue dress. That's how he decided that.
And that's an unfair thing, but not to defend Pooch, because I'm not the biggest fan of him or anything, but week one, what else do you have to go with? What an unfair position to also be put in.
Sure.
You don't know any of these people. You just walked in and now you need to decide who is going to be unsafe. That also kind of sucks. What else do you do?
It's not unheard of though, right? I mean, we saw Camp Comeback. People have been put in that position before, right?
I mean, let's not say that looked any better.
No, not that it did. Yeah. Not that it did, obviously. That was a disaster. But it's not unprecedented on this show to be put in a position where you now have to pick people on the very first day you know.
Well, no, it's not unprecedented, but I mean, it's still a difficult thing.
Right.
You know.
I agree.
I mean, I think in that situation, the easier way to go would have been like, well, nobody lost this competition, but one person won it, so put the winner of this competition in, because that's like the only kind of hierarchy there is. Everyone else is so like evenly, you know what I mean?
That would have been really interesting if he chose Turner to be with them. That would have been crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, like the other four that were there, like, you know, besides Turner, it was Taylor, Brittany, Terrance, and Joseph who did that competition. So I'm sure one of them was last technically, but like you have no way of knowing.
Right.
And I guess between the four of them, he can say it was the belly dancing all he wants, but I'm sure like he was probably the least threatened by Terrance and Brittany in that lineup. So, you know, he probably was like, let me just throw in another girl, make it 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was worried. Oh, that first night they were like, he goes blue dress, and Taylor's standing right there, and goes, and then he's like, no. I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
Fine, we're good, we're fine.
Okay, fine.
I'm like, oh, okay, nice. Someone posted that that meme of Davon where she's like doing that finger thing, and they like heard blue dress, and then it was like, no, the belly dancer. It was Davon being like, there you go.
That's fantastic. So now where do we go? I mean, like, what a mess.
So we haven't really, I mean, broken down against this episode. There's not that much that happened, though. We saw kind of like from earlier in the week, we thought there might be an eviction that never actually happened. And then they just did the HOH comp, right? So, like, we can jump around if we want, right?
They barely got through the HOH comp.
Yeah, I think that first comp, and tell me what you guys think. I think that
I know
first
what you're going to
comp
say, and I think you're right.
Was supposed to be the backstage competition.
Yes.
Probably.
Right? So, and they just decided, let's make everybody do it. We'll have everybody go up in pairs so that they get, you know, divided, and then we'll have an HOH comp. But I have a feeling that was the backstage comp, and then whatever they're going to do next is the actual HOH comp.
Sure.
That's what I was thinking. What do you guys think about that?
I mean, it's been 100% because Paloma left last night, so they had to have already had that all set up for backstage. So you're 100% accurate. There's no other way. There's no way that was HOH. Like, there's just no way.
Yeah. Which, by the way, you know what that means? Taylor would have kicked everybody's ass.
I know.
Her, Michael, and Kyle like ate that up. So
yeah.
I was
Taylor would have won.
screaming because Taylor was so close to like wiping out, and it was the craziest save I've ever seen. I was screaming.
By the way, I still don't believe them. I think Jasmine's foot hit the ground. I really do. I swear to God, it hit the ground.
Me too.
I absolutely think Jasmine's foot hit the ground. Absolutely. Right. I cannot wait to go back. Yeah, I absolutely think it did.
Because, like, Jasmine was then on the ground because she injured herself. But then you heard Julie being like, actually, Jasmine. And then, like, people were coming over to make sure Jasmine was okay. And Julie was like, we'll be right back.
We'll be right in a minute.
They were like, when they came back, it was already like 9:56, and they still had like 3 more races to get through. And I feel like they were just like, you know what, this season's already a mess. Screw it, Jasmine won.
Yeah,
like
whatever, it's fine. She's not gonna win round 2.
She's in the winner's box on the ground. Like, yeah.
Well, you know what they probably thought too. She was against Terrance, who, you know, I don't want to, you know, doubt anyone's abilities, but they're probably sure he doesn't have a shot either really in this one. So they're probably like, you know what, she like broke her ankle, he's not gonna win, let's just say she won and move on like with our life.
And move on with our life.
Like they are so tired. Like, production is exhausted this season. It's so bad.
I'm exhausted.
It's been a week.
It's been 1 week.
A week.
This might be
so
I don't like, you know, I can't sit here and go through every other season, but this might be like one of the most like definitely like tumultuous like first weeks, I think, in the show's like run. Like,
and
I've never seen
this is one
like
of those moments where it's like I'm remembering that in a pre-pandemic world we didn't get first week feeds and live move-ins. Could you imagine if we didn't have the feeds this week?
Oh my God.
Honestly, no. Like Paloma, we wouldn't have met Paloma. It would have been like Marvin, like, and Christy.
And
last
and
season.
clearly, and I cannot wait for Kyle to talk about it because I saw his tweet. The edit of tonight's episode was not doing any justice to what's been going down either.
The edit did not do us any justice. Last night's edit did not do any justice. I mean, anyone with half an eye could see that, like, the way they spliced together, like Taylor crying when she was by herself, like in that blue top or whatever that was that she was wearing, clearly did not happen directly after that conversation with Daniel in the HOH room. Like, it clearly was not that. So, but unfortunately, to our casual viewers, I don't think that's something that other people would have picked up on.
It's doing a huge disservice to Taylor.
It is.
Right.
It truly, truly is. To the point that my mother even called me this morning. She's like, but why was she like modeling all her pageant stuff? Like, I
because
really
they
like
told her to.
And I was like,
so
okay,
they could
Mom.
make fun of her later.
Exactly. I said, because they asked her to. And I said, it's also kind of customary. Like, there was a lot of chatter around, like, should Taylor be parading around in what she's calling her, like, finale dress? And it's like, that's what most ladies do. Like, in Big
There's
Brother.
been seasons of this same show in this same country where they've done it. Like,
right. Exactly.
Like,
that's what I said.
something
It's like,
fun to
Ma,
do.
that's like something they do. I mean, they have no TV, they have no phone. Like, why not have a fashion show? What the hell else are you doing week one?
Right.
Like,
Taylor
this
makes it a
was
point
terrible.
to say, like, she's like, oh, and by the way, like, once I wear, like, you guys can wear any of my clothes. Like,
Yeah.
so nice and genuine. Like, it's,
Yeah.
but were they all saying stuff on the, I didn't really catch any of this, like, on the feeds that night, because they only showed Paloma and Jasmine talking about it in the DR, but, like, were all the girls talking about it?
I mean, it was mostly Paloma, but everyone just decided they hated her. And it's all because she's the pretty girl that, like, got along well with the dudes in the house. And they went, oh, nope, we don't like this girl anymore.
Right.
And all the girls just decided she was public enemy number one for no reason other than pretty girl that is well liked.
It's also like, I don't understand how, like, okay, everybody freaks out on Taylor for wearing her potential finale outfit, but then the very next day, it's okay for Paloma to walk around telling everybody, "Oh, I've already won, and I'm going to invest in your business. I already won the game."
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and then yesterday, I think it was on the feed, she's walking around the house in the HOH bathrobe. Like, you're not HOH.
Yeah.
Like, why is this okay? But Taylor can't put on a nice dress. That
Right,
she might
literally
wear
talking
if
about
she
how
might
you're
make it
going
to
to
finale.
spend in great detail the prize money that you obviously are getting direct deposited into your account is totally fine. But wearing your finale night dress is poor sportsmanship. It's not nice. Like, why are you acting like you're better than us? Like, come on.
The finale night dress you asked me to put on.
Right, it's so stupid.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And also, she very clearly says finale night, which all 16 house guests are invited to.
Right, she's going to be there whether she's in the final two chairs or not.
She
That's
never
just what
said
she's
final
wearing.
two.
Right.
She never said final two. She said, this is my finale dress, like, whether, like, and that could be final two, jury, pre-jury, like, she's going to be on the stage.
Everybody is at finale.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, just so weird. But I mean, that's the thing, like, no one, I think there's maybe 4 or 5 people who were really into the show on this cast. Like, there's so many recruits, like,
Yeah.
they're just like, they don't get it. And I think that's why it's so bad. And that's why they need to stop, like, casting so many people that just don't really get the show, because this is what happens. But
I don't understand why that's necessary. Like, why do you need to cast people? Why do you need to cast any recruits? That's ridiculous.
Right, the amount of applications.
Right.
The amount of applications they get from people who are dying to be on this show. Why do you need to cast an influencer that's never heard of Big Brother before?
Right.
Like,
Let's cast a bunch of people that really like this show, and we'll get a really good season. Like,
I think so.
Do we know, like compared to previous seasons, are there a lot more just influencers on this season that, like, recruits? Are there a lot more recruits on this season than previous seasons? Do we know that? I'm not sure.
I feel like from my understanding, there's usually like 3 or 4 recruits, but like this seems to be majority recruits.
Yeah.
Well, funny enough, I think the last season that had, like, this many recruits, I think is 16 had so many. And, like, that season wasn't as ugly as this one, but it's definitely one of the most boring. So, like, just enough. Like, just stop doing it. Like,
right.
I think there's also something too, like if you want to recruit people who are well known on social media or influencers, like there's ways to pick those types of people that actually know the game and are fans of the game too. Like you don't have to just pick recruits for the sake of picking recruits because you think they have a big social media following. Find the recruits that are popular online that like the show and know the show. You know,
and not to mention, like, case in point, I feel like the majority of last season were fans of the show. And last season, I think everyone can say across the board, was the most likable season, regardless of, like, what the cookout did or didn't do, or, like, the mission of the season or anything like that. Just the people on the season were so likable.
Yeah. I agree. Speaking of that, and to, like, get back to Taylor a little bit, I kind of do have also, like, a theory of, like, also why maybe everyone's hopping on the We Hate Taylor train. And I don't think anyone's ever going to say it on the show, but it's like what I think. I think these people are in this house, found out like, okay, no one likes Taylor, and they're all hopping on it. I think everyone in there is secretly thinking like, we don't want another cookout. And so I think they're like, yeah, like, let's get Taylor out now, like just to guarantee it doesn't happen again. But no one's going to like, well, with these people, you never know. I don't think they would say that out loud, but I think that's what they're all thinking. Like, I really feel that way, that's why they're all like, yeah, Taylor. Like, and it's weird.
I mean, I get that to an extent, but there's not even enough Black people to pull that off again. Like,
right.
What is it going to be? Like Taylor, Monty, and Terrance?
Right.
I'm already shaking in my boots. I mean, like, I think most people would be fine. I mean, like, you know, it's not really a lot of power there, unfortunately. I mean, Terrance is already kind of a flop.com. I mean, he already lost to Broken Ankle Jasmine.
Not Broken Ankle Jasmine.
That was so, like, I don't want to say it was funny, but it was funny. Like, she just, like, the way she just hopped off the stage. I'm like, what was that?
Right, because it just really just looked like she was looking for attention, you know, like... I don't know.
It was very like,
yeah, you don't want to make fun of an injury, but I totally agree. Like, it was like, I'm sorry.
Because I don't really think it was an injury is the thing. Like,
right. Yeah.
They came back and, like,
I agree with you.
The way she was sprawled on the ground, like, she was, like, so angelic on the floor.
Well, if I may be a little conspiratorial for a moment, I do remember, like, reading... once, like, it wasn't confirmed whether or not Paloma was gone. It was still, like, kind of speculative at this point. Or, like, I think it was, like, while she was in the DR trying to self-evict. But I remember seeing people saying that, like, Jasmine was saying, if Paloma goes, like, I don't want to be here anymore, I want to leave. So, like, is it possible that she was just trying to, like, oh, no, I broke my ankle. I guess I can't compete. You got to send me out?
Oh, I hope so.
I don't think so, though, because it seemed like from this episode tonight, it was like the next day when Daniel came out with the card being like, Paloma's not continuing anymore. Like, they might not have seen her for a while, and not really known what was going on, but it looked like they were genuinely surprised when Daniel told them, and it seemed like that was like the next day. So, like, if we were seeing last night that Jasmine was being like, I want to go home too, like, I don't know.
Well, I think that was today, right? Like, Daniel read that this morning.
It would have either been late last night or this morning.
That's what I mean. Like, I think Daniel read that this morning. So if we were seeing Jasmine saying she wanted to self-evict last night, like, I don't think that was legit. I don't think the Houseguest knew yet what was going on.
I just know she had been in the DR for a really, really long time. She was nowhere to be seen on feeds. Like, no one could find her for, like, a couple of hours, I feel like.
Yeah, I think it was, like, 3 to 5 hours, like 3 to 6 hours. Which, you know, obviously, I feel like at this point, everyone really knows what that means. Like, it happened with Dick in season 13, and, like, everyone thought Audrey was going to leave in 17 when she was in there for, like, however long with the blanket situation. So,
yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, but Jasmine can go.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like a broken ankle is just not going to get you out of the game. Look what happened with Christmas.
I was just going to say, she was walking around in that freaking boot all season, that stupid scooter.
I've already seen on Twitter people taking that moment when Julie was like, Christmas will give her eviction vote live from the hospital. and they're like, they're superimposing Jasmine's face over it.
Christmas sounded so like very drugged up when she cast that vote, if anyone remembers. I hope we get that from Jasmine. She's like, I voted Vic Ramsey's. It's like, it was so bad.
Okay.
I don't remember that at all.
I don't either.
Really?
That whole season was a mess.
I have absolutely no recollection of that at all.
Yeah, she had to
She
get
wrote it in
surgery.
the
So they were
hospital?
like, yeah, like they had her picture up on the screen and they were like, Christmas will be casting her eviction vote from her hospital room. And they like had her on like the loudspeaker of the stage and she sounded like she like just came out of a coma. Like it was so bad.
What a weird.
She just woke up from
So
surgery
weird.
and they just shove a mic in front of her mouth.
Julie wants to know who you want
Yeah.
to
She's like,
evict.
what's Big Brother?
We're gonna hit you with some morphine, but
My
first,
brother is here.
Who do you
But
want
first.
Who do you want to evict?
It's like she's in the bed. CBS executives are in there being like, your contract says you're going to vote in every eviction that you're in the house for. So let's go.
Let's go. We're live.
Oh man.
So stupid.
She's on the table getting surgery. They bust in.
Julie's like, hurry it up, Christmas. We're live. We're live.
Let's go. It's time to evict. So
I think that was the first time something like that's even happened on the live show, like someone getting injured. But I can't remember, like, but I think that's the first time we saw like an actual injury occur, like on the live show was happening.
Yeah.
This season's just like, it's. I tweeted this earlier too. I was like, maybe Paloma was onto something. Like, this is not real. Like, this season isn't actually happening.
We are in a simulation.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe, like, I can, but I can't. But, like, I couldn't believe that they didn't include all of that. And, like, it was just like, she's tired, she hasn't slept, and she really wants to go home. It's like, no. She was having a full psychotic break. Like, she didn't know where she was, who she was. They were in a dream. It was Inception, but for real, talking about the metaverse and how this is all just like a cultural reset to try to, like, whatever. She was rambling on about the wildest stuff.
They couldn't say that though, Jeans, because then it shed a lot of light on the fact that like they are not allowing certain medications to come into this house. Because I really
But it's not
feel
even.
like that's how
I
this
remember.
happened.
I read somewhere too that like she had failed her psych eval before going in.
I read, yes,
and they still put her at like. That's insane on the part of production.
That's even worse.
But like on the part of production, how do you care so little? You care more about your ratings than the actual health of the people that you're putting in the house. Like that's wild to me.
I didn't hear that specifically. I heard that she failed her eval this morning, and they convinced her to stay in the house for a little longer.
That makes more sense.
Before
that's what I heard.
Self-evicting. I mean, you could be right also, but
I saw from, I think it was Hamster Watch on Twitter. He tweeted out that they were the first person to tweet out that Paloma left the house.
Right.
Which turned out to be true. Hamster Watch also tweeted out that at some point before Paloma left, they gave her a psych evaluation. She failed it. They wanted her to stay, so she did. And then afterwards, she was eventually self-evicted from the house. But I mean, if that's true, that's really bad.
Yeah.
Of when the evaluation was, she failed her psych eval. Let her go home.
Right. Regardless of when it happened, you failed it. You need to be,
it doesn't matter
out of there.
She becomes a danger to herself and other people at that point.
Yeah.
Especially when, like, before she was, like, disappeared into the DR for all this time, she was going around the house saying to people, vote me out. I want to get out of here. Please let me out. Like just get me out of here. You know what I mean? Like,
well, before she actually ended up self-evicting, there were a couple of moments where she was in the DR for like a really long time. She would just disappear off feeds and she was begging to be sent home and they wouldn't let her.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really happy she decided to do this before tonight's show because, you know, I think it just worked out, like, you know, in a way where, like, you know, Taylor was able to stay. It's kind of like a fresh, like, reset. I'm hoping, like, things just get better from here, especially with her out of the house, because I feel like she was, you know, everyone's at fault, but Paloma was, like, a really strong voice in that house for a lot of people. And she kind of seemed like the leader of, like, the, you know, the hateful comments that were being said. So hopefully with that presence out of the house at, like, things just start like looking up and it actually becomes like Big Brother again is what like I'm hoping.
And it has kind
I
of
hope
seemed
so too. We need that.
It has kind of seemed too in the last like 2 days or so as Paloma was unraveling more and more and like Taylor was having more conversations to clear the air that people were like, oh, I don't think this is what we were told it was. So people started kind of like coming back to reality and being like, oh, maybe we're all doing this for no reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is great. And yeah, I mean, like I said, like she was already one of the backstage people anyway, so it just all worked out, and like hopefully she's cool. Oh, and I was gonna comment on what you said too. I'm kind of happy they didn't really get into like all the nutty things she was saying. I felt like that would have been like more like exploitative than anything else, like
That's
of
fair.
her. You know what I mean? So I think maybe that's why they were like, let's steer away from that and just say like it was exhaustion. Yeah, I think it would have been more of like a segment or something. Like
no,
if they
that's
would
fair.
put,
Yeah.
you know, so maybe that's why they did it.
Yeah.
It honestly was like best case scenario for this whole week.
Yeah.
Like you said, like hopefully it's just like a total reset. We go in with one less player and just actually start playing the game now.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I think, I guess I have hope for the rest of the season. The one thing that bothers me is that I feel like, Taylor has been still sort of made to look like a bad guy in some ways, like, which really bothers me. Like, even in this episode tonight, we had Taylor. She was so upset about being put up on the block and then going around the house feeling like, I just can't believe, like, I just don't want to be, hurting people. I feel like I've hurt people. It's like she hasn't done anything to hurt anyone. And she's,
it's like,
you know what I mean? Like,
with Daniel's speech when he put her up as the replacement nominee, it's
so
like
aggressive.
but like she felt as though she had to do this whole apology tour, not understanding that, like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, I didn't realize that I was doing this wrong. She wasn't. So she's now having to go around and apologize for something that she did not do wrong because everybody else wronged her. But and I hate to use this term because it gets misused so often, but they gaslit her into believing that she was this huge problem.
Right. And that's what, so Paloma left, and listen, mental health is a very serious thing. I take it very seriously, and I hope that she's okay. I hope she gets whatever help she needs and all that, Paloma. But at the same time, like she did and said a lot of very terrible things about Taylor. And I just feel like Taylor has still been made out to be this villain 3 episodes into the season. Meanwhile, I just, it's not deserved at all. It's not fair at all to her. And I just, that's been one thing that's really, really bothered me, is that it still feels like Taylor, it's one thing to just be like, okay, if you're told, okay, you're being put up because you said this or that, but like Taylor's being told that she has hurt people and she's done this and she's done that. And then Daniel's speech during the veto ceremony when he put her up as the replacement nom, I hope this gives you a chance to apologize for the things you've said. It's like she has nothing to apologize for. Like, why you? Paloma lied about her, and even the lie that she told was just that, like, oh yeah, Paloma's coming for the strong guys. It's not like she did anything like morally wrong. Like, you know what I mean? Like why is everybody piling on Taylor as if she's like done some horrible thing that she has to apologize for? I still don't get that.
Taylor didn't even lie. Paloma straight up said to her,
right.
We got to go after the guys.
Right. Even if this lie was actually true, this is still not something that everybody needs to be shaming her for, like into apologizing to everybody in the house for. Like, it's just, that really bothers me. And I feel like the edit did not do Taylor any justice for like
Taylor
what she's endured over the season.
She was given information and went to another house guest and said, hey, you're being talked about.
Yeah.
Figured you might want to know.
Yeah.
And now she's public enemy number 1. Like, it hurts my brain to try to.
And that's what bothers me too, is that like after watching this edit, like casual fans will still see Taylor in a negative light, which really bothers me. Like, like if you're a casual fan coming out of this, you're probably feeling a lot of sympathy for Paloma, and you're thinking that Taylor is still this bad guy. Like, which I think is.
Well, I also hope not, though. I hope that the casuals would also take a step back and realize that, like, simply because that's how Monty is reading it, I'm not so sure that that's really how the edit read. Because if you have watched this show, even as a casual, you should have seen in that moment that, like, Taylor was just looking out for him and he took it wrong. The takeaway from this should at least be.
Even his retelling of it was like, it's not exactly what she said.
Right. His retelling of it might be wrong, but I would hope that the casual viewer would still be smart enough to now know. Maybe you don't have the heightened knowledge that we have from the feeds, but you should still be able to sit back and say, like, okay, like that's not really right. That's not really what she did there. She was being honest with you. I don't really understand why you're trusting Paloma any more than you're trusting her, because you've known them both for the same amount of time. I'd like to believe that even the casual viewer, if not all of them, that some of them can at least pick up on that.
I agree with you because I don't watch the feeds. I try to stay as spoiler free as I can until the live episodes air. It's just more fun for me that way.
Gotta mute me on Twitter. I'm so sorry.
I have muted the live updates Twitter, so hopefully your tweets, quote retweeting them, don't show up for me.
Well, did you follow the directions of my pinned tweet? So you can mute certain hashtags so you don't get spoiled.
That's very true. But even just watching the live episodes, and I mean, like I've had some things brought into further light through Twitter. It's inevitable. But even just by watching I know I'm like a bigger fan of the show than maybe like a casual fan, but I was able to tell like exactly what was happening here and be confused and be angry for Taylor. So I'm hoping that does translate to other viewers as well, and they can see what the hell was happening this week.
I think with Wednesday's show, like last night, I think they made it more of like Taylor was a snitch, and then I think tonight they made it more, they like tweaked it a little to make it like a tiny bit more clear as to like because they showed the actual conversation between Monty and Taylor and then Monty and Paloma, but like I think last night they for sure made it look like, oh, Taylor's a snitch type of deal, which either way, even like go ahead.
Sorry. No, like the one crumb that they did give us of like giving some sort of justice to Taylor was that one conversation with her and Paloma where Paloma was like, I don't really care about what you have to say. Ooh, sorry, am I being rude? It's like, girl, you just literally shut her down and wouldn't even attempt to hear her out.
And I was like, actually, that was a little rude. And I was like, good for you. Good. Yeah.
And like just to comment on what John said too, like about like whether it was true, whether it was a lie, like Daniel's speech, truth, lie, she made it up, she didn't. Like at the end of the day, like what do you mean it was all game related?
Right.
Like so apologize for literally what? Like it was game related. She didn't go to Monty and say Paloma said, you know, like he smells like something it was game related. Like so apologize for what? Like, relax.
Right.
And that is one of my biggest things as somebody who I love players like Paul and Tyler. Like when people cannot separate game from personal, I mean, yes, in Paul's first season, maybe things were a little more personal. Maybe he didn't handle things the right way. But I mean, like, I'm not taking anything away from Casey, but I still think Tyler deserved to win his season. He played the best game, I think. But people can't separate game from personal. They make these big moves, they turn on people, they lie, they manipulate, and people are like, oh, they're doing this because they're a bad person. They have wronged me personally. I'm going to vote against them. No,
you get the bitter jury.
They're playing the damn game, and they're playing it damn well.
Right.
I would agree. And and it's even like that with fans too. Like we saw it last season with Sarah Beth, who didn't do one mean, nasty thing, but you see fans hating her just, you know, because she was taking out, you know, their favorites or against their favorites. It's like, it's the same thing within the house and with outside the house, like how you have to make that separation, and people who can't do it. And it's unfortunate. Not that I'm like the biggest Sarah Beth stan, but it's what happened. She was the most hated last season.
It is a good example though.
It is.
She didn't do anything like, you know, nasty, but she was definitely the most hated out of that season. Probably, I don't like, you know, the most disliked while it was going on. Like, no one really cared for Sarah Beth, but it's like, God, you know, towards jury. But
it's so funny because like I wasn't a huge fan of Sarah Beth, but I still think of like the worst contestant on BB23 was Frenchie, and like I think I said to Gina and Kyle recently, I was like, could you imagine if the worst cast member on BB24 was just another Frenchie? I feel like we would all be
we'd be so happy. We'd be so happy.
Like,
yeah, well, speaking of Frenchie and like the first HOH, like something we haven't said yet, you know, Daniel's in that house right now, so pissed. that all three of his people are still in that game.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
His like secret, random, like weird crush Paloma is gone, and all three of his noms. Like he is seething right now in that house.
Mhm.
Yeah.
To pull those
He
chips,
would.
not having a good time. He was
I saw Derek Levasseur tweet like basically exactly what you just said, saying like I'm so happy for Alyssa, Brittany, Taylor, Terrance, like they get a chance to play the game. Daniel must be pissed right
Livid.
Yeah.
now. He nominated 3 people and they are all still in the game gunning for that HOH.
and
Mhm.
2 of them are still in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which,
God.
yeah, if you guys wanted to like speak on that too, I was gonna say like if we like take a overlook of the 7 people still left in, like what do we think is gonna happen there? Like
I mean, I know what I want to happen. But...
Yeah.
There are 2 clear people that
And then who are the other 5? Like we know Jasmine's out. So
it's
okay.
Taylor and Michael, Joseph, Amira, Kyle, Monty, and then Jasmine.
Okay, well Monty was S at the comp.
Julie was like, all right, chop, we gotta get through this quick. And it was the longest stretch of that. They both fell like 15 times. I was like, what the hell is going on here?
I genuinely thought Monty was trying to throw it.
I saw a couple people tweeting that he was throwing it, or they thought he was throwing it.
After the first time he fell, I thought he was throwing it, and then Nicole fell, and I was like, "Are they just both trying to throw this?"
Well, you know what's funny? You know what's funny is that after Nicole threw it, then Monty like got back up and started going through the course again, and he was just like taking these huge, like he wasn't even jumping from obstacle to obstacle. He was just taking like very big like steps. And I was like, he's clearly better at this than like the first run that he tried to do. Like,
right.
Yeah.
I feel like by the end of it, he was like, I guess I gotta win it.
Right.
Like Julie's yelling at us.
I think our big 3 contenders here, and I'm really scared. I'm just gonna try to be positive. I think it's definitely gonna be between Michael, Taylor, and unfortunately Kyle. And I think it's gonna come down to Michael and Kyle just based off height alone. They were really fast. So, you know,
so was Taylor.
Well, but do we know?
I don't think they're doing the same thing.
I was going to say, do we know what the second part of the competition is?
Yeah, because there was a point.
Oh, they don't do the obstacle course again?
No. I don't think so, because do you remember? So towards the end of the episode, Julie was saying, "Oh, you know, there's these double doors. They showed these doors that were closed," and Julie was like, "Oh, like that's the next part of the competition, but you don't get to go through there unless you win." In this part of
that's what we were saying. What we just watched was going to be the backstage competition, and then what's coming is the
Got you. Oh my god. Okay, that went right over my head. I'm just like, oh, if it's this race again, it's going to be Michael.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, now,
it really depends on what the competition is.
Now I'm really scared. I was like, cool. They have a 1 in 3 shot. Like the other 4. Now I'm just like, okay, now it really is like 2 out of 7 chance of being happy this week.
Right. B-Bean.
Hey, B-Bean.
B-Bean says part 2 might be mental. I think I agree. I could see the next part being like trivia.
Sure.
Which I think Michael would have a good shot at that point.
Yeah, I agree.
I'd love a Michael HOH.
I'd love a Michael HOH.
Me too.
I'm here for Michael HOH for sure. Yeah.
Also, though I will say I'm a little superstitious. Nobody that's won the second HOH has ever won.
But Michael, Steve, I tweeted this too the other day. Steve is the only winner to be nominated week 1 and then go on to win the game, and he also won the veto. And Michael is doing the same thing.
Okay.
So he'll break a curse and follow.
Fingers crossed.
Who knows? Gina would love that. She needs a winner pick.
And well, when my first boot from BB Can became the winner, I need a redemption arc.
But your winner was also the runner up. So
yeah, you're right.
So you had both picks. They were just one of them was a really poorly placed one.
To be fair to Gina, none of us had Kevin anywhere close to being the winner of BB Can 10. So.
No, but we all did say, I mean, obviously, some less than others, but we all did say we found him intriguing at the very least. Like, we were interested in him, and we thought he was going to do some good things. Maybe not Gina, but
in the draft.
Okay, listen, his preseason interview
I'm pretty sure,
intro
I'm pretty
package,
sure
whatever, gave a very different Kevin than what we ended
Wait,
up
did
seeing
you
in this
slam
season.
him also, John? I didn't.
I did.
Oh, we were
pretty sure I
hating
called
on him based on his intro package.
Well, you
I'm
can
pretty
say
sure I
we.
called him.
That's the two of y'all. Like, I wasn't
I'm pretty-
hating completely.
I'm pretty sure I said that I thought Kevin was going to be a monster. Like
We saw a
like,
very
really
different
bad.
Kevin than we thought we were gonna get. All right,
because he kept saying that he like wanted to be the villain. He wanted to just be like awful and like just,
we were like, oh
like,
god,
do and say terrible things. And I was like, this doesn't seem very nice or fun. But then he like turned out being like the best kind of villain, Kevin,
right?
In BB Can 10, like Kevin ended up being like that is the villain that I wish we were getting in BBUS this year.
Right,
Somebody
that is who
who's,
I
like-
want to see
yeah.
every season.
Somebody who is scheming and doing all sorts of things behind the scenes, but also like, you know, treats other people with like some level of respect.
Just
Like,
setting himself up socially where people don't realize he's manipulating them.
right.
That's all fair. That's all fair. Listen, it's 11:30. We are 56 minutes in. We are past due. For
Oh my
God, that's
judgment.
Well, again,
Woo!
Bong, bong,
Julie-
bong.
Bong, 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 bong,
People have a lot to say
bong.
about Julie today.
This is when we take a moment to take a look at Julie's fashion and give it a hot or not. Tonight, our queen wore this little number. What do we think?
I like it.
We're wonderful in white on tonight.
Yeah.
There's
I
some
like the
flowers
outfit.
going on.
I
Very
think
nice
she looks
endearing
good.
smile.
It's
Yeah, I
cute.
give it a hot. I give it a hot.
I'll give it a hot. I'm just, you know, there's other reasons I'm not so hot on Julie at the moment.
Yeah,
All right, well,
Julie's
hold on.
Julie's
hold
not
on.
well liked by the fan base right now.
I'd like to know why. But first, can we just get a comment on the fashion? I'd like to know what Warren thinks, hot or not.
I'll give it a hot. I don't think it's the best that she's worn, but I'll give it a
No,
hot.
I wouldn't say it's best she's worn.
I mean,
either.
following
I
up
didn't
that
say-
purple number, she had a lot to live up to.
Yeah.
So
Right. I mean, now this, like, honestly, I'm not
Yeah.
That's a
expecting
hot.
anything to come close to this until finale night. Okay.
Yeah.
Pretty in purple. We love every single minute of it. The tassels, get out of here. Let that wind blow. All right, but this is what we got for our random ass, twist night. This is our
The
backstage
twist night,
outfit.
the twist night with the self eviction and the canceled twist, and
I mean, hey,
kind of
it was a
plot
twist. It
twist.
just it blindsided everybody.
It blindsided the entire country. Slim, hot or not?
I feel like I'm on like Tudor boot for a drag race right now.
Basically, this is the jury duty version of it.
I'll give it like a very 6.5 out of 10 hot.
okay.
So
Okay,
you're a
okay, I see you.
you're
I
a
see
little
you.
tepid.
A little tap
Not
Yeah,
lukewarm.
it's a toe in the pool type of hot. Like, you know, I've never really been a fan of like white clothes or like even like white vehicles, white shoes. So maybe it's just like a taste thing, but it's fine.
Mm.
Like she doesn't look bad.
It's slightly warmer than room temperature.
yeah, exactly. Like I said, 6.5 if I had to round it, or we'll say 6 out of 10. It's fine.
It's like
Okay,
a pregnant
okay.
lady's water bottle at 11 a.m. It's not hot, but it's slightly warmer than room temperature.
Yeah. It's uncomfortably warm.
Yes. I don't want this water, but I need this water.
It's humid.
I know.
It's humid.
I know it's a very specific temperature, but you all know exactly what I'm talking about, and that's
Yeah,
why
yeah.
you're laughing. Because
It just
you get
doesn't
it.
feel
You get
good.
it. Yeah. Well, good job, Julie. At least it's not a knot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could have been worse.
At least not for the dress.
Oof. Woof.
So what is everybody's problem with Julie? What didn't she do right tonight?
She did. No, it's not. It's not just about tonight. It's not just about tonight. It's about the whole day. She did some
day.
interviews. She did some interviews today.
Oh, I've been a little out of touch. Work has been a little crazy. Dial me back in. Tell me things.
All right. I'm going to tell you right now,
Tell
the
me.
biggest thing from today that I took away was this headline from Variety,
Variety,
which is
Variety.com.
which is no small publication.
Oh no!
And this was their direct headline. Big Brother's Julie Chen urges hypocrite in quotes, because that's what she called the fans, hypocrite fans not to judge contestants using microaggressions against Taylor Hale. That's the headline that they wrote. Big Brother's Julie Chen urges hypocrite fans not to judge contestants using microaggressions.
Okay, now hold on. Now listen. You know, all right. Let's treat this like a real jury. You know, let's get all the information before we make a decision here, right? What else? This is the headline. This is clickbait, right?
I watched the interview though. I watched the interview.
You watched the interview. All right. Well, I just want people to know that I did not watch it. All right. I've been swamped at work. I ate my grilled chicken panini at my desk. All right. So this is new to me. So
and there were a couple of interviews too. There was one that was all like typed out, and then there was a video with Sharon.
Oh no! Oh, Sharon thought.
So, I mean, on
managing editor for Us Weekly. Our BB Queen.
So there was a lot of talk from Julie in these interviews, from what I saw anyway, about how, because people were saying, oh, you know, a lot of fans are complaining about the mob mentality in the house, that like people are just ganging up on Taylor for no reason, and there's all these microaggressions coming out. And Julie kind of came back saying like, oh, well, if you want to talk about mob mentality, isn't that what Twitter is? All the fans coming out as a mob and saying this or that. And it's saying, no, like, these are people watching what's going on in the house and seeing that it's not right.
Looking for accountability.
And speaking up about it. So like, it almost felt like Julie was giving a pass to the people who are actually committing the microaggressions that are going on in the house aimed towards Taylor. But then she was more angry at the people on Twitter that were upset about the house guests that were committing these acts.
She said, I'm going to get the exact quote wrong, I'm paraphrasing here, but it was something to the effect of like, don't judge the people who are in the house, like leave the judgment up to God ultimately. Like, who are we to judge these people? And like just this, and we were like, everyone on Twitter was like, y'all, we're not judging them. We want you to hold people accountable who are being problematic to other people in the house. Like,
right. And just like the fact that Julie's calling out the fans as like hypocrites and like it's like, what are you doing?
People did notice too, and I don't know if this is anything, I haven't really been paying attention to the rest of the season, but usually they have like how we have like our little ticker, they'll have like hashtags and like to talk on Twitter or whatever. There was no like Twitter hashtags in this episode, no like hashtag but first, hashtag BBLF, where usually like that will be displayed on the screen somewhere, and people on Twitter were making comments like, is this because you're trying to like either keep people from getting all of the information by like looking up these hashtags later on, or like as a kind of like stick it to BB Twitter? But
yeah,
that's really interesting. You noticed that. I didn't even notice. That's crazy.
Well, I didn't notice myself. I saw a lot of people were tweeting about it.
Oh,
yeah.
You know, I did notice that it wasn't there, but I did not give it any thought. Like when she said "but first," I looked in the bottom left corner, and like nothing showed up, and I went, well, maybe somebody forgot. It's been a crazy week. I thought nothing of it, but like, that's wild.
Yeah. And I haven't noticed if it's been happening the rest of the season. I haven't really been paying attention to it, so I don't know if it like if people are like seeing something that like just happened to be the precedent and like it just looks like something right now, or if like it actually was no, take Twitter out of this right now.
Wow.
I mean, BB Twitter was trending for like the first time on Twitter today earlier. After
That's right.
Which is insane.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're probably definitely being calculated about it, trying to be, you know, I mean, this isn't the first time that they've tried to, you know, keep something, you know, as they're trying to keep it as smooth as it could possibly go for themselves, which, you know, I think
it's just so weird to me that you would do that when you do so much to promote like Paramount Plus and the live feeds and everything. And it's like, if you're going to do that, then you need to own what the story is and just kind of go with it. Like, this is what happened.
Right.
It's not our fault. We already said this was a social experiment. This is supposed to be a microcosm of what American culture is. like it's not our fault these people responded this way, and it isn't. Like it is.
Right.
This is what is going on in this country. So like,
Right.
if you don't like how Taylor is being treated, then maybe look in the mirror, because like this is not a shock to anyone who looks like us. Sorry.
And I feel like what's the point of having like the whole graphic of being like, oh, the people in this house have their own views, and that doesn't mean that, you know, we agree with these views. Like they post that on the feeds. You know what I mean? Just put that up. Like this is supposed to be reality TV. Let's see what's really happening in there.
Yeah.
Like,
why don't you lean into that and actually be the reality TV show that you claim to be?
Right.
So often we see people protected by the edit, and it's like, why? They are putting themselves out there, knowing they're being watched 24/7. Half of the viewers are seeing it. Just acknowledge it. This is what they're doing. This is what the actual story is.
Yeah. And listen, I can understand if you don't want to put certain things in there, but like there are ways to do an edit well, where maybe not every single word that's been spoken, you know, shows up on the edit, but you can still edit the episode to accurately reflect what's happening in the house. Like, why are we getting an alternate version? Why is it that live feeders who are watching what's going on 24/7 have one opinion, and then people who are watching the edits have a completely opposite opinion? Like, you don't have to make everybody look as bad as they look on the feeds, but like show who the villains are, show who the people, you know, the people are that everybody likes. Like, why is it that we have to, like, you know, like everything has to be, you know, done in a certain way, where it's like the live feeders are voting in one direction and the casuals are voting in a different direction for these twists and stuff like that. You know, like why does it always have to be that way? Like, let's have what's happening on the feeds be accurately represented in the edits. And you know, why can't we just do that? I don't understand.
Right.
No, I mean, it makes sense. And like, they have to be consistent too, because, you know, they show Paloma in episode 2 kind of being like the main character of the episode, and really the main character of the season, and making Taylor, you know, look bad with the guys and everything. But then, you know, come Wednesday night, you see Joseph feeding Taylor a grape, and they play the shade rattle music over Paloma's reaction. It's like, be consistent at least, like, because now Paloma looks, you know, like the mean girl who's jealous. It's like, it should have just been that way from jump. That you know, because if you're gonna show that anyway, just make it consistent. Like, it's all over the place right now, especially with this season, and I'm so confused. Like, if I was a casual watching this season right now, I'd be like, what is happening? What is going on?
Yeah, what am I supposed to make of all this?
I'd be confused.
I feel like over the course of the last couple of episodes, I have felt like the way the edits have portrayed Paloma, like the way it starts off, it seems like, okay, they're kind of showing that she's like a jealous, sort of mean girl. But then the second half of the episodes have felt like they try to like build sympathy for her. That's how it seems to be like edited. It's like, okay, we're kind of showing you what Paloma's been up to, but we should really feel bad for her. You know what I mean? Like, that's like kind of how it's felt like it's gone the last couple episodes.
Well, because to be completely honest, I've kind of had that back and forth too. You know, because I sit here and I say, like, I don't like you because you're a mean girl. But then I'll just be laying in bed and I'll watch her, like, be talking to herself, talking all crazy. And it's like, oh, yikes. And it's like, should I be feeling this way about you? Like, I'm tempted to believe the real you is not a positive you, is a mean you, you know, because of the way that you acted night 1, but I don't know how long you've been without. Like, what if that rumor about her being without the meds is true? Then it's like you're sitting here feeling negatively about a person who does not really have control of themselves and their thoughts, and then that there's some guilt that comes from that. So, like, what is one supposed to do? And I wonder if production is also kind of stuck with that. Like, how do you tell that person's story? And kind of like straddle the line between, like, this is what is real, because it's all real, but like, because this person is not well, what story do you want to lean into?
It's a very hard line to find, and I understand that. I'm a big mental health advocate. I deal with my own mental health issues. I hope she gets the help that she needs. However, the way I view it, it's like it explains everything, but it doesn't excuse everything that happened.
Right.
No.
It gives an
Absolutely.
explanation.
No.
It makes it make more sense. But while we do feel bad that she's going through what she's going through, she should still be held accountable for all of the negative things, all the shit she stirred up for no
Absolutely.
reason. She may not have been in control, but she still did those things.
Right.
Yeah.
True. But then
I
how do
completely
you
agree.
tell the story? Like, there's still a certain sensitivity that is like new to that, you know, because people are new to being sensitive, unfortunately, you know, and that's not, we don't know how to tell that story.
It's a very touchy subject too. Like
it
not
is,
everybody
it's
knows how to handle discussing mental health.
right. And and it's a hard thing because there's not enough education around it, you know. This is somebody who did behave very, very poorly. That's part of the truth. And the other half of the truth is this person is unwell. So, like, what do you lean into other than maybe trying your best to tell both, but also still remain entertaining? Because, like, the show still has to be on until the end of September, you know. Money was invested in this project. You know, I don't know.
I mean, when it comes to storytelling, I don't think this is anything that they thought would happen. You know, like obviously from the way they showed her episodes 2 and 3, they did not, you know, think this was gonna go down clearly. So I think I feel like they wanted to just end it, like her storyline on like a on an empathetic note, and just kind of leave it at that. You know, which, and you know, that's my thing, like going off of what Warren said, there is like a high level of empathy I have for Paloma when it comes to, you know, what she was dealing with mentally. But I think everything that she has to take on, and I think, you know, she's responsible for everything she said in that house to, you know, to an extent, and so she's gonna have to deal with the consequences on the outside of the house the way anyone else would. So
yeah. Can I pose a new discussion point? Wait, what was that? What was that, Warren?
Do we think she comes back for the finale?
I was thinking that earlier when we were talking about how everyone is usually at the finale. I mean, they had Dick at the finale. Well, you know, he had to like leave for other reasons, but you know, like so Megan wasn't at the finale of 19. So I'm gonna say probably not.
Yeah, they also did not allow Chris Kattan to vote. In Celebrity Big Brother US 3, so
love that.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with a no.
Chris Kattan gets a mention.
Chris Kattan.
You know, my brain went right to Megan, so I don't imagine.
I couldn't remember if she came back or not. But...
No, she was not there.
Okay.
Can I challenge you with another discussion point? I know it's getting a little late, but just one more. So, you know, so now we kind of discussed a little bit about how, you know, Paloma's story kind of has two sides, and how maybe production would have a rough time deciding what side of the story to tell, which one to really highlight, and which one to prioritize. In that, how responsible then is production for Paloma's decline? You know, if it is to be assumed that, you know, production did not allow certain medication to come into the house, then that also begs the question of what medication did production allow to go into sequester? And during this time here in this pandemic, where you know you're sequestered for 2 weeks, how long did this lady go without her meds? If all that is to be true, like, did it just stop in the house, or did that stop weeks ago? Did we never get the actual Paloma that people wanted to cast? Which is now a new interesting conversation to have, because Jesse Tenenbaum is catching a lot of heat on social media now after he has now taken over for Robin Cass as far as the casting of this. And now everybody is calling for a new casting director for Big Brother after all of this. So, and if we are to now believe that Paloma is the ringleader of all of this, how responsible is now production for this dark cloud over this season, and how it feels a little tainted.
I just don't understand why they would deny somebody any sort of medication that helps them function as
I don't know why either.
Being.
And
from my
apparently it's
understanding,
something
I think
that's gone on before.
Yeah, I don't remember who it was that was saying it. It might have been Kat Dunn. Somebody had tweeted like, that like
Kat Dunn did.
that she. I think she was saying like she was able to get medication in, but it was like such a wild process to get it approved that like most people just wouldn't do it.
And if you go back, Janelle actually said she had to sneak in some medication.
Oh, did she?
Oh, was it a Xanax? Right?
I think it was.
Xanax?
She had to sneak it in. She said she had it hidden in some hat or something like that.
For when she got put on the block or something.
I just don't understand how you're going to isolate these people for potentially 90, 100, 110 days, however long it lasts. Cut them off completely from the outside world, where normal, unmedicated people go stir crazy, and not provide people with essential
resources
medication to live out their lives as a normal human being. Like
right.
I don't understand what the point of that is. Why would they do that? Why would they deny people medication that they take normally?
It really feels very, I don't want to say the exploitative.
Well, no, that's what people were saying when because Paloma was.
I just want to make sure I said it right. I was just nervous.
No, because Paloma was begging to be let out, and they said no, and then she failed her psych eval, and they said nah, stay in. Like she was clearly on the decline, but they cared more about her ramblings and the ratings,
right,
than letting her get out and get help.
I just don't understand what the point is of denying people medication. What are they afraid that if people take the normal prescriptions that they need to take from day to day, somehow they'll have an advantage over everybody else? I don't understand. Like, why are you not allowed to bring medication in?
We're not taking steroids here.
Right.
Yeah, we're not taking steroids. This is not the Olympics. Stop playing games.
And which players have said that this is definitely true that you get denied medication? Kat Dunn, you said was one.
Kat Dunn said it. Janelle made a comment.
Janelle.
We actually have a comment here from B Bean. He said, "Do we know that Paloma did not lie during the interview process and say she was not taking meds to get on the show? We don't know that. I mean, I'd like to believe, though, that there's some kind of a background check that's involved in this. I mean, before you get a job, people know certain things about you. I'd like to believe that before you get cast in a show where the entire country is going to be watching you 24/7.
Especially because
there might be a little bit of something more in place.
Especially knowing there is some sort of a psych eval, regardless of how thorough it is.
Yeah.
It's got to be something, yeah. Janelle talked about this possibility on her podcast. We love Janelle, but that really should not be a possibility. If you're being evaluated psychologically.
I hope this at least opens production's eyes to the fact that these medications are extremely important to the people that they are cutting off from the outside world, and that it can be potentially dangerous for not only the house guest in question, but also the people around them. I don't want to say they're lucky that it was just psychotic ramblings. What if you have a big guy who has these sort of psychotic, he could hurt somebody. Paloma was this small girl who, I mean, she could probably hurt somebody too, but what if you have this giant meathead that they'd like to cast, and he just kind of snaps one day and attacks a castmate? You're putting them in danger, you're putting the rest of the cast in danger. They're putting themselves in danger, because if something happens to somebody else, they're gonna get sued.
The entire thing is a mess. Honestly, I mean, there's a kitchen there. I have to assume there's a knife block.
Yeah.
Right.
What if somebody does kind of go a little bit off?
Yeah.
I mean, we saw in Big Brother 2. it already happened as far as like back in 2001, a house guest put a knife to another house guest's throat.
Oh, that's right.
I forgot about that.
Justin put a knife to Chris's throat, and he was expelled from the game. But it's like, you know, that it could. So if it could happen back then, it could happen now.
Of course, even more so now. You know, because this whole country is in such a state of unrest that, like, you know, anything can happen now.
I hope something changes, because this has brought to light just how poorly run that aspect of the show is.
Yeah, it's a mess.
I feel like they need to have more people like who actually love the show involved in making the show. You know what I mean? Like people that are on BB Twitter that follow, you know, everything that's going on. Like get people involved. Like there are so many talented people within the BB Twitter universe that like could probably come up with some very cool competitions that could come up with you know, like very good ideas for different cast ideas and twist ideas. I feel like they need to have like people that know the game more involved. It always feels like whether it's production or whatever, or the people that they're recruiting, it's like we have to watch people that don't know anything about the game, that don't even really care about the game as much as like we do, coming up with all these things. And it's like, I don't know. It's just, this season is such a mess. It really is. And when you can think about how many recruits there are on the season, it's like get people that know the game more involved in the game.
Yeah.
I agree. I just don't want to write off the season just yet. It's
I
week
hope...
one. How many Big Brother seasons do we watch and we don't even remember week one? I'd love for this to be a week that we don't remember, like on week 7.
I hope
8,
it's
like...
exactly what Slim said, and it's just a full factory reset, and we can go on from here.
Yeah.
I mean, they set up the stage perfectly for that. Like Taylor, who obviously was the clear victim of everything basically that's been going on this week, got to stay in the house another week. She could possibly win this next HOH, her or Michael, who won't, you know, target her again. I think if we see an HOH this week where it's just not ugly and, you know, Taylor has a fair shot to actually play the game, I think we can see like maybe we get a better season out of this. Like the stage is set perfectly. Now it's like kind of in like the 15 of their hands.
Yeah. So what are we expecting for Sunday? What do you think?
I have absolutely no idea.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping, like we've been saying, that it'll be sort of like a reset. I've seen some people on Twitter being like worried that because of Paloma's exit, like Taylor will somehow be blamed for that or something like that. But I really hope that it is with these 15 people that are still in there. It'll just be a reset, and like we can see like how the game will play out now. I hope it's not like any carryover, because I still think that there's a bunch of house guests in there that could have a lot of negative feelings towards Taylor. But I hope that's not the case.
I really want Taylor to win.
Me too.
To be honest, I think I'm more so rooting for Michael just because I saw one tweet. I don't know how accurate this is. Or no, I saw a feed clip. Like I heard her say it to herself. Taylor was saying like, oh, like I really gotta like blend back in with the house. I might have to go for Brittany. So I'm gonna hope Michael wins this one. He'll keep Brittany and Taylor safe. So I'm hoping Michael takes it.
I mean, for that reason. And also I think it just would be better for Taylor not to win, because then like she's going from being public enemy number 1 to immediately getting blood on her hands. I would rather her just be able to like coast through a week.
Okay. I can see that, as long as then that means we need Michael to win.
Yeah,
because I'm just nervous that like somebody's going to vote for her that's not going to have her best interest in her.
Right.
Yeah.
We need Michael to win, and we need Taylor to like take these 7 days and really like work on her relationships in the house. Like really like start building like a foundation and then build it up like without having to do any work.
I just hate so much that she's even in the position to have to do that.
I know.
You know, like it just like she shouldn't have to. She didn't do anything wrong. But you're right. But you are right. Like that is what she needs.
It's better than her being at home, which was gonna happen this week had, certain events not taken place.
Yeah.
So
It
she's
was
still in the
also
house.
nice. It was nice to see Taylor, like, when she found out she was still going to be in there after everything she's been through. It was so nice to see her actually, like, excited that, like, there was no eviction. She was still going to be there. It was like, okay, so she still feels good about being there. She still feels good about being around these people, even though they haven't been great to her.
You could see the weight lifted off of her shoulders.
Right.
Because I was worried about that too. I was like, if no one ends up going home, is she going to be upset? Like, I just wanted to get out of here, and now I have to still be in here.
Like,
you know,
crap. I'm here for another week with these people. But like the fact that like she found out she was safe, and she has another week there, and she seemed excited about it. I was like, okay, good.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm happy the twist is over. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say I'm really shocked that twist is done. Like, there's no more backstage boss.
I'm surprised.
Yeah, that was just going to be a 1 week thing.
Do we think that was rearranged because of the Paloma stuff?
I think that was always going to be a 1 week thing.
I think it was always going to be a 1 week thing. Too,
I don't see what more mileage they could have gotten out of that.
Yeah, no. BBUS is queen of.
Sure, I saw rumors that it was like whoever wins the backstage boss competition is the next backstage boss. Like, that was
I see that too. Yeah.
I saw.
And I was like, that's kind of weird, but like I could see, like, it's just, what is BB24 going to be now? Like, there's no, like, what does BB Fest entail at this point? If there's no, like, you know how they always have like a specific twist to go for the first, like, 4 or 5 weeks. Like, now that's gone. It's like, I wonder what they're going to do now. Like, pull something out of a hat. Like, I don't know.
That's interesting, because there was an interview where Julie did say that this twist is supposed to last a few weeks, and now we know this twist is over. So that's interesting. I hadn't thought of that.
I thought of it actually as like sort of like a cross promotion sort of thing, because we have BB24 going on and the Challenge USA, and I almost thought like, oh, are they trying to turn these evictions into sort of like little mini eliminations for the first like 3, 4, 5 weeks, where you have like a possible nominee, this backstage pass thing, and maybe for the first few weeks they have a little challenge elimination that decides who goes home, and maybe it's like a cross promotion thing. And like, I'm wondering if like all the drama that we've gotten from the start of BB24 has like just killed that.
Well, I'm also sorry. I feel really strongly about this. I'm surprised I haven't said it yet. I'm really happy everything worked out the way it did, but I just want to say I absolutely hate. I would have hated the twist regardless. I don't watch Big Brother for the competitions even a little bit. I'm here for votes, and I'm here for evictions and strategy. I'm not here to watch, people have to win a competition to stay in the game. Like, I want like eviction votes, and I want like strategy and having to campaign for yourself. So I'm really happy that it's done and it's not going to be a thing. I don't watch Big Brother because I like the competitions. More times than not, they're silly. So I'm not really here for that. So I'm happy it's over.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys feel the same way, like, about competition.
No, I agree. I agree.
I want eviction votes. So
I agree in this. No, I agree in this arena. I do. I agree in BBUS, but like, once you've been exposed to Big Brother Australia, and you see those competitions, no, it's just a different game. It's just a different game.
Yeah,
like, they play differently. Their competitions are very Survivor-like. You'd be a lot more interested in the competitions because they're good. They're not just hopping from peg to peg, or how many times did somebody say dump? You know what I mean? Like, it's just a completely different game.
And the winner carries so much power if you win that competition.
It's just a different game. Like, BBUS is fun because it is cheesy and it's silly and whatever. But like, you might have a different view of some of the competitions if they were actually like challenging, and not so cheesy. Yeah, that's all.
I mean, when I watch Survivor and the challenge, like, I love those challenges, but yeah, just when it comes to Big Brother, I'm just not like here. Like you said, like that first, like the whole porta potty situation, like, please give me a break. And like, I can't stand all the DR puns. I can't deal with that.
Yeah.
Like, Michael saying that he's joust here for the veto. Like, I wanted to turn off the show. I can't deal with the stuff like that. So I can't deal with more Big Brother competitions that are necessary.
Did you enjoy Jasmine in the
Oh,
when they were all coming out to that jousting competition. I saw a lot of people on Twitter
I'm
being
getting a
like,
turkey
"What
leg."
is this?"
Yeah.
Oh.
Really, yeah, I can't deal with the competition commentary. I wish we didn't get a lot of that. I can't because it's none of their real words.
Right.
It's nothing that they want to say, and you can tell with Michael. The only people I could tell watching is Michael and Jason Roy, like the really big, like they're in the Big Brother Twitter streets, like they know how we are, and like you can just tell like they don't want to say it. And Michael did not want to say any of the things. So good.
The thing is, I would want to say all the metaphors. And stuff.
Kyle would be having a great time.
I love all of those things. Like I live for it.
You are production's dream. You would have a blast.
I'm telling you, you don't have to come up with anything for me to say. I'll just come up with it already. Am I allowed to say this? Can I do this? Like I would really, I'd be so into it. Like no, come on. All right, it's 12:04.
Oh my god.
It sure is.
I know. Do we have anything else for the benefit of the community?
The only thing that I have to say to end this is that I hope that either Taylor or Michael become the next HOH. And that's my only thought that I have that I wanted to share. And that's it. I'm done.
I'd like for it to be Michael, actually. I'm going to take back what I said before. I don't want it to be Taylor. It will put too much of a target on her back the following week. Let it
Michael
be someone that she's safe with. Yeah, let it be Michael. Michael's not going to put her up.
You're right. I agree with you.
Even if he gets some pressure from the rest of the house to put her up, I don't think he will, because I think that his smarts, even just as a game player, because he loves this so much, that like he would realize she's on an island. And he's going to be like, I don't want to put her out. So, yeah, I would really love a Michael win here. So I'm assuming everyone agrees. Nothing.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh no, I'm with you.
I hope he wins out the entire season.
Yeah. Honestly, that would be awesome.
Also, that's Warren's winner pick. You want Michael to win.
Yeah, he's been my winner pick since day one.
I would love to see a
Can
Michael,
confirm he tweeted it.
I want to see. I already hate my winner pick, Monty. So at this point, I would love to see a Michael and Taylor final two. Oh my god, that would be the greatest thing ever.
We can mark it down as a changed opinion. However, Monty is your official winner pick.
I know. I'm stuck with it. I know.
It is immortalized, and that is why we do it preseason. I would love to know what SLIMM thinks.
What specifically?
You are stalling. You just want more time. We would like to know who you think is going to win.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll be honest with what I thought preseason, even though it's embarrassing. My winner pick preseason, when we didn't know anything about these people, was Daniel. Which
mine was Monty. So
it was Daniel. Obviously, it's not the case now. I sadly, as much as I want to be optimistic, I have to be realistic here. I don't think we're gonna see a Taylor, Michael, or Brittany win this season. Sadly, it's gonna be someone we obviously don't want. I'm thinking with the other ones left. You know what? We might see a Nicole win this season.
Ooh.
I think. So I'm going to say right here, right now, Nicole is winning BB24.
Wow.
Man.
Whether we like it or not.
That is a bold statement to make on July 14th.
15th now.
I know, I was going to say /15. We do have a comment here from Melissa, who missed us on tonight. She says, happy 1 year, y'all. It's been such a pleasure listening to you all discuss these awesome shows. Thank you so much. Hopefully you can join us the next time. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Love you, Melissa. Thank you.
All right, so I got to be up for work at 5:30. So
yeah,
no, it is time. It is time to sign off here.
What are you saying? You just don't want to talk about Big Brother for the next 3 hours?
I'm saying that I don't want to walk into work a zombie tomorrow.
I mean, I'll
Fair
say
enough,
I
fair
don't want
enough.
to talk about Big Brother for another 3 hours. This has been a long birthday week. I mean, we've
has.
podcasted almost every single day this week.
We have we have podcasted every single day this week. Monday night,
Oh, yeah,
Tuesday
yeah, yeah.
Wednesday night, Thursday night.
Damn.
Right. Yeah. No, it's time to close the laptop. I'm fine with it. I mean, it has been great to see you all. I mean,
Happy birthday, guys. I love you guys. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Slim. Thank you, Warren, for joining us. Tommy,
Thanks for having me.
sorry that he couldn't be here.
Yeah, Tommy had troubles.
Bandwidth
tried.
issues. He's
Tommy.
probably already half asleep. Poor thing. Melissa, we missed you.
Yeah.
Sunday night. I mean, I don't know what anybody's doing. I'm free. I really want to try this Twitter Spaces thing. Okay, I want to have a space. Anybody want to be in a space?
I don't know what that is, but I'm down.
Right.
Twitter Spaces.
Spaces are basically like an audio-only version of this. You can have a space, have a chat. You can look like whatever you want to look like, okay? Because nobody can see you. I mean, just have a chat, talk about the goings-ons. I mean, at that point, we'll know who HOH is. I guess it does take some of the steam out of Monday night. But it could just be a fun thing to do. Invite the people and, come on, have a chat, Let's talk about it offline. We'll see what we'll do.
Okay.
Come on, have a chat.
Come on, have a chat. Or you can do what I said to Slim before. Like, no, we're live at 10:30. Just go ahead and pee, have a snack, and then come back and have a chat. Yeah, absolutely. Very laid back. Very laid back. Oh, hello from Kite Man Dan.
Hi.
Kite Man Dan, hello.
Hi. You're saying hello, and we're out of here.
It's my night time.
Yeah, thanks for popping in. You'll be able to find it afterwards. You can find us on the socials at BB Jury Duty or on our flashy website at bbjuryduty.com. Thank you again to Slim and Warren for joining us tonight.
Yes, thank you,
Tommy.
Slim
We
and
miss
Warren.
you. I'm sorry it didn't work out. Yeah, you are really late. You're so late. We're an hour and 37 minutes into this thing, and we're signing off because we're exhausted.
But go back and watch. Go back and watch, Kite Man.
Go back and watch. Throw us some comments. Tell a friend. And we're going to bed. Thanks so much.